The national violence, a situation that seems to demand this simple yet obvious solution. Clean up the rocks! People, for God's sake, just get the rocks and old bricks off the street. This isn't an Army problem, it's a Department of Sanitation problem. When frustration sets in, Palestinian teenagers reach for rocks the way Whitney Houston reaches for the crack pipe. Rubble spells trouble, okay? Okay, that would solve the immediate problem. Now, for the deeper problem, may I suggest not taking symbolisms from millenniums ago so seriously that you kill each other for it. Thank you. The dispute over Jerusalem is all about who sat at the wrong lunch table. It's the Bloods going into a 7-Eleven in the Crips territory. Look, I'm not an expert on Judaism, although I try never to pay retail. And most Muslims I know used to have names like Dwayne Washington, but I will tell you this, no one knows who built a house somewhere 3,000 years ago or where some guy is buried, and it doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with God and everything to do with acting like a little kid. God wants you to shoot someone because you stepped in the wrong place? I don't think so. You shouldn't be fighting over 5,000-year-old stuff. You should unite to protect those antiquities before Anna Nicole Smith marries them. I say we need to take the violence off the streets and put it where it belongs in Hollywood movies.
Ladies and gentlemen, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
All right. Thank you very much. And let's meet our panel. He is the National Director of a Generation X anti-abortion group called Rock for Life. Their Votopia concert is on Saturday. Bryan Kemper. Bryan, hey, which side are you on?
Good to see you.
Bryan, how are you? Good to see you again. She is a former Brigham Young student and a member of the New Orleans cast of MTV's The Real World. Julie Stofer. Julie. Hey, you. How you doing? Good to see you. He is a sitcom star, stand-up comedian, radio personality, and the son of a professional bowler. His film, House of 1,000 Corpses, opens soon. Chris Hardwick. Christopher. Good to see you. And he is the heartthrob star of Dawson's Creek, Wednesdays at 8 on another channel, James Beek. Yeah, hey. Hey, James. Glad you got here. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, have you all been, you're all of the Gen X generation, have you been following Julie's?
It's the young people's show.
It's the kids. I love to hang with the kids because they teach me. Okay,
yeah.
But have you been following Julie's saga? Because you're a Mormon.
I am.
And I'm training to be a polygamist. No, I'm kidding. And you got kicked out of the Brigham Young University.
Yes.
Because as a Mormon, you took the Mormon oath?
Well, I signed the paper, yeah. I was living with boys, and I lived with boys on The Real World.
So the Mormons got ticked off because basically you signed the Mormon oath. The Mormons are pretty strict. They're kind of like the Amish, the Orthodox Jews. Very like, hey, come on, no fooling around. Nobody get too sexy. And then you were on The Real World, and they saw you on TV, and they were so appalled they almost turned off the channel.
Almost.
And you were cohabitating.
Yeah.
Right, you were cohabitating.
Cohabitating with guys.
Right. So, my question
You
is...
slut! I'm leaving!
Yeah, I'm sorry. Forgive me, Father, if I've sinned.
But my question is, whose fault is this? You did sign the oath. You are a Mormon. You didn't think they were going to see you on MTV?
Well, of course they were going to see, and I knew that, like, they might get mad and kick me out. But I guess, like, my whole thing is, what's more important, the rule or the thing behind the rule? Because I didn't have sex. That's why we have the rule. I didn't have sex.
Well, what is the thing behind the rule?
But you did sign the rule. I mean, the one thing is you did sign the paper. You did say, I agree to these to go to this university.
True.
So if you submit yourself to that rule, you should follow that rule.
And that's fine. It's like, go ahead, kick me out for living with guys. But when you kick me out for having inappropriate relationships or implying that I had sexual relationships when I had a camera in my mug 24/7. It's obvious that I didn't do that.
And I don't think,
I'm confused with the fact that you're allowed to marry multiple women, but yet you can't live in the same house.
No.
Guys?
Yeah.
That is done. That is done.
Maybe they shouldn't have accused you of other things. But
Yeah, definitely they shouldn't have accused me of other things.
The one thing is, though, I mean, you chose to go there. You chose to sign that paper. You should live up to what you signed. I mean, you could have chosen any other university.
Let's face it.
and you may not care now, because if it's a group that has ideals that you don't necessarily support, that may be, you know, a particular organization that you don't necessarily want to be a part of now.
True, and that's my whole thing. It's like, yeah, I knew that I might get kicked out for living with guys, and so I got kicked out, so I'm fine with that. But don't go around saying that I'm a slut. I'm not a slut. I didn't sleep with anybody. I'm just like, I didn't do it.
I've heard about the slut thing before. I was totally just like,
Yeah. But I don't think they're saying you're a slut.
Well, I read the letter.
Oh.
Did they bother to, like, talk to you about it, say what went on? Did you do anything wrong?
No, I actually went to them. I'm like, I'm going to go on this show. Are you cool with that? And they're like, well, we'll have to see. And then that was
So
I got a letter
they
in the
kind of
mail,
gave you permission then
So
to
you
go on the
still
show.
want to
They
be
said it was cool before you did it, and then after you did it,
Well, they said,
you're
we'll
out?
see, and then I got a letter in the mail, and I'm like, ooh, I guess I see.
Well, that's kind of hypocritical on their stance, though. They say, oh, we'll see. They're kind of giving you permission to go on the show, but then right after you do it, they're saying, no. They should have, I don't think they should have said, we'll see. They should have set the rule right before you went on.
But you know what stinks is that, I mean, like, they have to make an example of you. Like, that's what, you know, because it's you're in such a public forum, and now they can go,
I'm a Mormon martyr.
she signed this contract, and anyone...
But we were talking about this early in the week with the Catholics, because we had a woman on with a book about, it's called I Like Being Catholic, and she was pro-choice. And for gay marriage, you know, it's like, why are you a Catholic? I mean, I'm more of a Catholic than it's like people. They want to.
I went to Catholic school. I was taught by Jesuit priests. They're a very liberal sect, and they're not. You know,
Jesuits?
I know. I know a lot
No,
of
I'm just saying.
I was taught by them for 4 years.
But then why join the club? You know, that's why I'm not a Catholic, because I want to masturbate. You know, I mean, that's why I quit. You know, because I didn't think I could live up to their standards. And yeah, I mean, I'm saying you don't seem to me like the Mormon type. I mean, it's a very strict club.
I don't seem to be the Mormon type.
No, you don't. It seems like MTV and Mormonism are incompatible, like, I don't know, Disney and politically incorrect.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. Some weird mix.
Let's go worship. No, Jackass is on. Okay, we'll watch that. You know, it's not, it doesn't...
You're right, I'm a sinner.
No, you're not a sinner.
No, you're not a sinner. We don't think you're a sinner. We just not sure you're a Mormon. Like Donnie and Marie, they seem like Mormons.
Because they aren't on MTV.
Now,
Bill.
would this prevent you from getting into another Mormon university or any university? I mean, is this a dirty expulsion? Is a big black mark on your record?
I hope not. Oh, go. I need a degree. I hope not.
But you're not going to get into another real-world house.
Yeah.
No, I get people that, how dare you go on Bill Maher? You're a Christian. You can't go on a show that talks about that kind of stuff. I get people that are angry at me for being a Christian and coming on this show.
This is one of the few shows that lets
That's why I
Christians
defend
speak.
you. I totally defend you. They say, you know, he's just...
Right. Love the sinner.
You know what? I try to tell people, I say,
Love the sinner, Bryan, right?
I tell people, off camera, you're a very respectful, very nice person. On camera, you have to push people's buttons. You do. I mean, come on, you need the rating.
But you know what? You know what really bothers me about that is that like I totally support what you're saying, because if someone is going to be pissed at you because you go on the show, like if their belief system is that fragile that you can't express your opinion with other people who may not agree with it, then that means that their belief system is not that strong, and that really pisses me off.
Very good point.
I'm mad now.
Take a commercial, but very good. Okay.
Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, contender Joan Allen, actor Jeff Bridges, singer Patti LaBelle, and actor Sam Elliott.
Okay. We are here with the kids today, and we were talking about that.
Oh, boy.
Kids and Uncle Bill. And we were talking about masturbating, something I have in common with the young people.
Oh, Uncle Bill, tell us about masturbation.
Well, let me tell you, it wasn't so easy back when I was a kid. You didn't have all this MTV with the ads and the tits in your face.
What?
You had to look for it. But listen to this. Speaking of which, and computers, there is a website called infidelitybusters.com, which I think is dirty pool. I think it was started because lots of wives would walk into the room and find their husband at the computer, and their husband would suddenly turn like, I'm not doing anything, honey.
You mean like typing with one hand?
That's what it is, yeah. Okay, so listen to this. A woman started this InfidelityBusters.com for a $100 fee. She will make a play online for the spouse in a chat room. For the spouse. She will find the guy's name, because the wife tips her, and she will type in, you know, that I have big breasts, or, you know, help me with my fuzzy math, whatever would get this guy going, and then when he responds, and I think it's entrapment, when he responds, then she makes a transcript and sends it to the wife.
That is DeLorean with a vagina. That is so entrapment. That is awful. That is awful.
DeLorean, that's a good reference.
Yeah, but now, how is the wife going to know that her husband was extra large penis, or whatever the name that he uses? Like, how do you know that that is your husband?
See, again, not Mormon. It doesn't strike me as Mormon thing.
Yeah, but how do you know? I mean, you print that thing out and you're like, honey, I know you were doing this. How do you know?
That I don't know. But apparently the wives are able to give the chat name of the husband to this woman so that she can do this. And
it's very simple. All they would have to do is just save the file as a text file and email it back to the wife.
Well,
you can pretty much on your own computer.
But what I'm saying is, like, how would you know that that was your husband?
Okay, they know, honey.
Okay.
Just accept that part of it.
So wait, now, if you know, though, if you know what is why don't you just go talk to her?
Why don't she just go, hey, what are you doing?
Oh, God forbid. That would mean people would have to communicate.
No problem. You know, whatever happened to communication between man and wife?
Is that any different than looking at a Playboy, though? Because it's not your wife or your spouse?
Exactly.
I think it's slightly different. I think the intent of the crime...
person is there.
Because they're interacting.
It's reciprocal.
They're like actually talking to someone else.
Well, like it's a 900 number then.
But I think they're both wrong. I mean...
Well, but that's cheating, too, according to a lot of people.
I think it is
cheating.
I think anything like that is cheating, you know?
It's definitely intent. I mean, especially if you view sex as 98% mental, then then it's definitely infidelity.
Plus, you make a commitment with your wife. When you get married, you take vows that's the person that you're with for the rest of your life. You know, that's who I'm going to be with, my wife for the rest of my life, no one else.
You're married.
I am married. My wife just had a baby last week.
But when you're making love, you never drifted to somebody else?
No.
Your thoughts never drifted?
I love my wife, 100%. That's the only person.
I love my wife.
You know what?
Wait a second, I'm not married.
I'll tell you.
But I would love my wife.
I communicate everything with my wife. I communicate everything with my wife.
Oh, come on.
Oh, seriously. I have my password logged on. She can get onto my name anytime and know exactly what I'm doing.
And that's the whole point with this.
We have total communication.
But you certainly don't communicate everything.
Yes, I do.
Every thought in your head.
I really believe he does.
You never have a lustful thought about another woman.
You know what? I'm not saying I never have struggles or anything, and when I have, I've talked to my wife.
Really?
I totally have. Every man has struggles. In fact, you know what? We don't even have movie channels on cable TV, so I don't even have the opportunity to go through that kind of stuff. I'm serious. I love my wife that much. She is the only woman I will ever think of or ever be with.
It's hard to figure out why so many Christians are pissed at. I mean, he's honest with his wife about how he feels. You know?
And if he's got that open communication, his wife would come to him and say, "Are you online?"
That's why my wife can trust me. I go out. My wife likes to go to bed early. I go out and hang out at Gargoyle's Coffee House with friends. Some of them are single women. I have a strict rule. When they say goodbye to people, they don't hug me. They don't touch me. I don't hug other women. I don't get myself in situations where anybody can say...
That must be tough on those women.
No, I don't get myself in situations where anyone can ever say, you're doing this, you're doing that wrong.
Why don't you make the same rule?
Let me ask you this.
No chicks can hug you.
What if your wife said, hey, listen, if you're thinking about going on and... if she said it was okay. If she said, if you want to do it...
my wife wouldn't say it was
No, but if she did, like theoretically, if she said it was okay, would you then...
Absolutely not. I would never do it. And my wife is a pure woman. She was a virgin till our wedding night.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, she was. Hey, you're talking about my wife now. I believe you're talking about my wife. No.
No, I'm just kidding.
And I know my wife is like that. She would never do something like that.
So wait, if your wife came up to you and was like, okay, I hired this woman because I had these suspicions, what would you think?
I would probably be a little upset, but the woman would never find anything. There's nothing to suspect, and there's nothing she'll find. I'm not worried about it.
But okay, let me get back to the issue. I mean, that's interesting. I'm not saying it's not. But, I mean, isn't this entrapment? Because most men are just a thought away from sex anyway. I mean, we will masturbate about... Men will masturbate to anything, about the solid gold dancers, about the Land O'Lakes butter box. We will just masturbate about anything. So, in the real world...
I don't think that's true, though. I don't think it's true. Wait, time out. I don't think it's fair to say...
We've all done her.
I don't think it's ever fair to say that men are more sexually charged than women.
You've got to be on drugs to say that.
No, I really don't think so. I do not think so. I think y'all are just perverts. I think you all just...
Yo, what the hell did I say?
You're the one who lived in a house with other guys.
Yeah.
Not all men like that. If you avoid situations, if you avoid putting yourself in situations where those thoughts are always going to come up in your mind.
Exactly.
If you're looking at movies like that, looking at websites like that all the time, then maybe you're going to think like that. But if you avoid it and keep yourself out of situations...
But is that denying it?
Is it really possible to avoid
Yes,
thinking about it?
It is.
I mean, because you're saying you struggle.
You know what? Because
so
I have a faith.
and then you,
when if a
you
thought
don't
comes to
act
my
on
mind,
it.
the first thing I do is I try to pray. And I ask God to take thoughts out of my mind, and it works.
Yeah, because simply avoiding it doesn't mean that you
Yes,
don't want to do it. It just means that
No,
you're...
I don't. I cannot ever think
When
of
those
doing
thoughts
something
come
to
into my mind, I pray to make them come into my life. You know, it's a different kind of
I think
prayer.
moreover, it's sad. It's not only is it entrapment, but like, why do people have to resort to these like stupid Lucy Ricardo sketches? You know, like, I'm going to show you I'm hired a pepper apple. You know, like it's so
Maybe
stupid.
if they're talking to each other a little more, turn off the TV at dinner time, sit
Don't
down and
ever
talk.
say turn off the TV.
Turn off
We
the
have to
computer.
take a commercial. We'll be right back. All right, we're talking about e-adultery, people who are jacking into the net, so to speak. And come on, I have to take issue with what you were saying, that you don't think men should be graded less harshly about our sexual desires than you. I mean, please, we have greater needs.
Just because I have more self-control than you. It's no reason. I'm serious. I am so serious. Women have just as much, if not more.
Well,
Of course, you're sitting next to James Vanderbeek and you're not all over him.
See, self-control.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
yeah, I almost do.
You honestly think that men should have like more
It's biology.
graces for
Of course, it's our biology.
a married man who makes a covenant with his wife, a promise to him, should be allowed any graces whatsoever?
I'm just saying
Absolutely not.
grade on the scale, because our biology is to spread our seed. Yours is to contain it. Okay? There is a difference in biology. We are not...
Wait,
Don't
wait a
start with the
minute.
seed
That's a fact,
trapping. No,
people.
no.
That's biology. I didn't make that up.
Hang on. Now, I totally agree with you, and I hate to hear people go, well, that sounds wrong, so boo!
Yes,
So what?
thank you.
But the
So
fact is,
when you get married, the priest or the preacher should give you one get out of jail free card?
No,
on.
wait. I honestly think I can bridge this here for a second, and it's simply the fact that on a purely limbic basis, your lizard brain, he's saying men biologically are programmed to spread their seed to as many outlets as possible. Women, listen to me. Listen, wait, because I'm not saying women should stay in the kitchen. Just listen. I'm saying the female part of the species is designed to find the best seed.
Don't tell me what I feel, because I know what I feel. I lived with many good-looking men.
I'm not trying to tell you how you feel. We're talking about the basic building blocks of biology. Not that it excuses anything. Not that it excuses anything.
It's just harder for us.
So you don't get any...
About 5 times a day, it's
just
harder
because
for us.
Oh, maybe it's because
do animals masturbate?
Yes, all birds masturbate.
Oh, you know?
Yes, you thought that was on your car. All right, I've got to take another commercial. We will be right back. All right, I would like to commend you for what you were just saying there, which is that people boo automatically, and before they realize that, hey, that might be actually something true.
People tend to get pissy about things that sound like they're not right, that sound like judgments, but, you have to take all the you have to take practicality or, the emotion away and go, look, purely on this level.
That's what politically incorrect means.
We're not using it as an excuse.
Right. Monday, we have Angie Everhart and Nanda Lewis, Billy Connolly, and Barbara DeAngelis.